Welcome to TPMvids Chucky Beat, where we talk about all things Chuck E. Cheese. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPMvideos. If you're a fan or have been a fan of Chuck E. Cheese's, you'd probably know that some restaurants are home to Munch's Make-Believe Band, an animatronic show that plays throughout the day. Although this group of characters has now become the familiar faces of Chuck E. Cheese's, this wasn't always the case. Chuck E. Cheese's opened its doors on May 17, 1977 in San Jose, California, under the name Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. It was the very first family restaurant to integrate food, an indoor arcade, and animated entertainment. As they say, it's where a kid can be a kid. Nolan Bushnell, founder of Pizza Time Theater, was very fond of the Walt Disney Company. It was a company he looked up to and wanted to work at, but never got the chance. The introduction of the animated animatronic figures in the Pizza Time Theater restaurant was sort of Bushnell's tribute to the Walt Disney Company, since they were known for their audio animatronics. In 1980, another little entertainment pizza restaurant opened called Showbiz Pizza Place, and although it was a very similar concept to Pizza Time Theater, both restaurants did very well in the early 80s when the video game industry was booming. In 1981, Pizza Time Theater went public on the stock market, but with any ups, there's gonna be some downs. And the video game crash of 1983 took a big hit on Pizza Time Theater. In 1984, the company filed for bankruptcy, and Showbiz Pizza Place bought off all their assets and now owned Pizza Time Theater. Both companies remained separate entities until 1989, when they started to merge and brand all the restaurants as Chuck E. Cheese's by 1992. With the merge, Munch's Make-Believe Band, the band we all know today, was born, and left behind in history were many different characters part of the Pizza Time players that are now extinct. So today, let's take a look at the top 10 extinct Chuck E. Cheese's animatronic characters. Number 10 to 8, the original gang. When Pizza Time Theater debuted its first animatronic show in 1977, it was referred to as the portrait-style show, where the figures appeared in portraits on the wall. The gang was called the Pizza Time Players, and its main cast of characters were Chuck E. Cheese, Jasper T. Jowls, Pasquale, Krusty the Cat, and the Warblitz. Krusty was one of the original band members in 1977, and according to this Pizza Time Theater menu, he was the cat's meow in singing and joke-telling, and was Chucky's straight man. Krusty's time at Pizza Time Theater was short-lived and became the first character to be retired and go into extinction from Chuck E. Cheese's. This only happened in 1978, and he never made it out of the original store in San Jose, California. When he was retired in 1978, he was then replaced with Mr. Munch, who is still a character that can be seen today at Chuck E. Cheese's. Another little fun fact is that Krusty the Cat was also voiced by the original voice actor for Chuck. Now, every great band needs backup singers, and the Pizza Time Players were no exception. In 1977, they opened with the Warblitz, who provided the background vocals for the band. The Warblitz were three singing crows, and considering Nolan Bushnell's inspiration from the Walt Disney Company, it wouldn't be surprising if there was some influence on these three characters from the singing crows in the 1941 animated feature film Dumbo. In 1978, the Warblitz went into a brief extinction and were replaced with the Mopsy Sisters, who were three singing mops, but luckily they were only used for a year, then the Warblitz returned. During the late 80s, with the construction of the rocker and C stages, the Warblitz flew the coop and became extinct in the restaurants. Number 7 to 4, the guest stars. Before Pizza Time Theater went bankrupt and was sold to Showbiz Pizza Place, the Pizza Time Players featured a variety of animatronic guest stars. These characters appeared in the original portrait-style show, as well as in the newly designed balcony stages. All the guest stars utilized the same animatronic figure, but were just reskinned as a different character and had their backdrop changed to coincide with the appropriate show tapes. The first guest star appeared in 1978 and went by the name of Foxy Flanagan, or Foxy Colleen. She was a female Irish fox who performed Irish-style songs. Next was Madame Oink, a pig that spoke with a French accent who'd oink anytime someone told her a joke. She also premiered in 1978, and I guess you could say she tried to hog the spotlight when she was on stage. Now, after Madame Oink was Sally Sachet, a disco-singing skunk. She didn't have a very long run and only appeared in 1979, then got the boot. Next came Harmony Howlett, a tomboyish cowgirl coyote from Western Texas. Harmony stayed with the band from 1981 to 1982, while Madame Oink was also still used until 1983. Once Pizza Time Theater filed for bankruptcy in 1984, Madame Oink became the last guest star to be featured. Then Helen Henny, who was a past guest star for the Portrait stage in 1978, was her replacement on the balcony stage. At this moment in 1984, all the Pizza Time Player guest stars, minus Helen Henny, became extinct and were never seen in the spotlight again. Number 3 and 2, the Cabaret Stage. A little while after the opening of Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater in 1977, locations began receiving a cabaret stage that was added to a separate room in the restaurants. These cabaret stages would feature animal characters who'd parody and impersonate famous musical artists. Not to mention, the names of the characters were pretty punny. The Beagles were a group of animatronic dogs who were designed to parody and look like the Beatles. They were able to be seen in the restaurants performing to Beatles songs until they were replaced by the Beach Bowsers, who utilized the same animatronic robots and were retrofitted to fit the old figures. The animatronics remained dogs, with each figure designed to look like a member of the Beach Boys, and would perform the Beach Boys songs. Also to appear on the cabaret stages was the King Animatronic. He was a 9-foot-tall lion that was designed to be an Elvis impersonator, with the hair, white suit, and guitar, just like Elvis Presley himself. Later down the line, some of the King animatronics were retrofitted to become the King Cat, who was a Michael Jackson-themed character. The animatronic was given a new wig, sunglasses, a red sequins jacket, and a glove, just like MJ himself was famous for. The King Cat was said to be Chuck E. Cheese's last hope for success, since the company was on the brink of filing for bankruptcy. Only a few restaurants got the King Cat installed before the company went bankrupt in 1984. The remainder of the restaurants kept the Elvis-inspired character the King, and the last figure was said to have been around until 1995. It should also be noted that at the time, these cabaret figures were programmed to the original artist's song tracks. This would have required a music license to use the songs for the shows, and was most likely very costly for the company. By the mid-1990s, most locations had all the cabaret acts removed. They became extinct, with the focus of animatronic entertainment now being in the main showroom. Number 1. Munch Jr. Once the company officially merged, all restaurants were branded as Chuck E. Cheese's by 1992. This meant that previous Showbiz Pizza Place locations with the Rock-afire Explosion Band had their characters retrofitted with the Chuck E. Cheese characters. One Rock-afire character was Choo Choo, a baby bear who lived in a tree stump. During the switchover, Choo Choo became the Munch Jr. character, who, as his name suggests, is a mini version of Mr. Munch, with one tooth and an orange propeller cap. He'd be seen bouncing up and down to the music, but never spoke. Since the mid to late 1990s, all the Munch Jr. animatronics were removed. Their areas were boarded and carpeted over, and from that moment, he became extinct. Now, to this day though, there is still one Munch Jr. animatronic hanging around. It's at the Wilmington, North Carolina location. It's not in working condition, so it's only a matter of time probably until he's removed and joins the rest of the animatronics in extinction. The present day. Now, depending on the Chuck E. Cheese location you go to, some of the restaurants got an update to the Studio C stage in the 90s, which just had the Chuck animatronic. So in a sense, the other band members have already become extinct at some locations. In August of 2017, CEC Entertainment announced that select stores would receive a new test concept. It would remove the animatronic band members in favor of a large dance floor and the frequent appearance of their live costume characters. Tom Leverton, CEO of Chuck E. Cheese's, said that the animatronics have become the sideshow, and the kids stopped looking at the animatronics years and years ago. But do you guys think that that's true? Now, this overhaul has already been carried out at the San Antonio, Texas location, and is set to take effect at 6 more of the restaurants in the chain. If these tests do go well, there's a good possibility that all stores would receive the new concept. It could mean that the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics will take their final bow, become completely extinct, and go down in the Chuck E. Cheese history books. So, what's your opinion on this recent new look of the restaurants, and the possible removal of the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics in all the restaurants? And if you could bring back or save one character either from the extinct animatronics or the current band members, which would it be? Leave a comment down below and start a conversation. If you have any videos from the Chuck E. Cheese restaurants you'd like to share to be featured in future videos, follow the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Click the TPM icon on the screen to subscribe to this channel, and check out some of these other videos which we're sure you'll like.